one-on-one with Catherine Beauchemin Pinard. How you doing, Catherine?
Doing good, you?
I'm doing great. Congratulations. Of course, you won the gold medal at the Tbilisi Grand Slam this weekend. How does it feel to be a gold medal winner?
Feel really great. I fight so well the day of the competition, so I'm really happy with the result and the process of the day. So it's really great.
Right on. So let's dive into the match if you don't mind. Let's review your matches. I have a bunch
Okay.
of questions to ask you afterwards, but tell us about your first match. You fought against a judoka from Cameroon. Her last name is Dombu. Tell us a little bit about that match from what you recall.
I know it was like not my hardest match of the day. Like was the first one. I think I fight her in training camp, but I didn't know her really well. And it was funny because I was thinking she would come fight a certain way, but when I started the fight with her, she didn't fight the way I think she will start the fight. But like I adapt really well, then I have like few different strategies in my mind to like fight her. So like one of my strategy with her work, so that's fine. Uh, it- my first fight was like pretty quick, finished like on the ground. She was like pretty stiff, so I think that was kind of hard. But I knew I will have opportunity on the ground with her. So
Yeah, I
that,
mean, you completely, as far as the ground, you seem to overpower her, and you didn't have any problems with her on the ground. So you got rid of your first opponent rather quickly. Moving on to your second opponent, you fought her last name was Sharir from Israel. Tell us a little bit about that match.
this match was harder in my mind before because I already fight her. I think it was like a year ago, 2 years ago in China, and I lost by Shido in Golden Square. It was really a tight match, and so I was kind of not worried about this match, but I want to win this match. I was like, I want to have like my revenge.
Right.
So I was like really ready to like start the fight. That like the fight will be long or like, but finally my plan was um, so specific and like I was really ready for the fight. I knew how to fight her. So like when I arrived in the fight, the first grip like was really great, and yeah, like I did like what I need to do, and like it works really well. First grip, like I threw her and like got her in the waza.
Can you explain to us how you threw her? It looked like you were setting up potentially for Uchimata, but you transitioned into a corner reversal, Sumigaishi. Can you lead us through that process?
Yeah, but like it's funny, like you said, like it looked like I'm setting up for Uchimata, but I really never do Uchimata.
Right,
I'm
right.
like,
It seemed like you had an entry, like you were
yeah.
setting up like
I,
for yeah. Please
a
continue.
lot of people like doing Uchimata like that, but like me, I'm like positioning myself for like that when I cross with the arm. I'm like doing like Ochi or Sumigeshi with it. So it's like my two technique like in this position. So like and like when I took it, like I feel it like the tension. I was like, oh, I think it will be great if I try it. So I just try it and like go for it, and like it worked really well. So I was really happy with it.
So and you obviously you pinned her and you won the match. What in terms of like in your mind, you've just won two matches. How are you feeling at this point? What's going through your mind having beaten her and you just mentioned before that you had competed with her a few years ago or so in China. So can you lead us through that process? What are you feeling and thinking at this particular moment?
It's kind of funny because the day before I was talking with one of my friends and I was looking at the draw and I was like, whoa, like the final is really accessible. Like I tell her like if I fight well, if I feel physically and mentally well, I'm like I'm going in the final. I'm like I'm pretty sure like if like everything's like is going well, I'm like I have a great good chance to like go until the final. So just in that in mind, I was already like I knew like I have the potential to do it. And after that, I'm like just like I was saying in myself like okay, I don't need to like think about the funnel. What I need to do is like think like one fight at a time and focus on like the process and like how I feel each fight, the plan for my each fight too. So it's what I did, and like after the second fight, I was just like feeling really strong. After my two first fight winning like that, I was like, well, it's not like I get any shido or the first fight I win, but it was like really hard. I'm just feeling really strong, dominate like these two like opponents. So I was like, well, just keep going like that, and everything will be fine.
Right on, and it clearly was, and you moved on to
Yeah.
the quarterfinal against the Hungarian fighter Ozbaz. I think you fought her before, right?
Yeah, I fought her in Budapest and I lost too. So today, I think like Georgia was a lot of like revenge. Like it
It was
was
the
funny.
revenge tour. The revenge
Yeah,
tour. Nice.
yeah. So I fight her in Budapest, and it was like really quick in Budapest because my mindset. I think in Budapest my mindset was a little bit off, and like I don't know, like something was not right, and I didn't fight her with like all the potential I have, I think.
Mm.
So this fight was like, okay, I'm ready. I know how to fight her. And after Budapest too, we had a training camp there, so I fight her a few times. So she had like not a special judo, but it's not like uh, a judo that like everyone had. So it's like you need like something to fight her more to like have the feeling and like know how to fight her. So yeah, so I have a really good plan for her. I knew she's really like flexible and really hard to throw. So I knew like the fight would be long. And it was like 4 minutes. I cut her and I was at the end of the fight. So but I was really happy with it because all the fight I was really constant on my gripping. All my attacks was really good. I still like don't know how she managed to not like get through on like few of my attack. I'm
Mm.
like it was really like really good attacks and like she managed to like escape. I was like, how this is possible? But well, I tried that. I tried something that's gonna be hard because if you like do good attack and they escape few times, you can like play in your mind and like, oh my god, how will win, blah blah blah.
Right.
But I managed to like just keep going, keep going, keep going, and I was seeing her getting tired. So at one point she did a bad attack, and I just like take advantage of the ground and like took her in the Asakami.
Right, and I think this particular match was the longest match for you during this entire tournament. I just want to go back to
Yeah,
what
I
you
think.
said about you had mentioned just a few minutes ago about knowing when you can give 100% in a match. I'm paraphrasing. How do you know when you're giving your best during a match? Do you personally know? Like, do you feel it? Is it a feeling that comes to you? Is it a how do you know when you're going 110%?
Uh, I dominate my opponent.
Fair enough.
uh, I think it's that. Like I don't know. Like I feel like, and I think you can like see it more when you're done, because like you can like see your match and like said like, okay, yeah, like I give everything I can, and like yeah, I think it's like is that, and like you're feeling strong, you're feeling in control, you saw like all the opportunities coming, you miss nothing in the fight. So I think that is like how I feel like in Georgia.
Right on. And as far as your coach, what was your coach telling you throughout this tournament? Of course, you just moved on to the semifinals. Now you're going to be facing Davidova. Sorry, I don't want to mispronounce the name,
Yeah.
but the Davidova from Russia. What was your coach telling you as you were progressing throughout the tournament?
He remind me like that, like he knew I have the potential to do it, and he said like if you do it a day like that at the games, like you will go for like a medal for sure. So he said like just keep going like that, and like uh, keep the plan, be like strong as you are in the other fights, and just fight, just enjoy it. Like it was kind of strange because sometimes we can feel like really stressed before like fighting, But in Georgia, I was feeling like relief, really like calm before my fight. And yeah, so it just like tell me like to do it what I did in the other fight.
For sure, and you seem to really enjoy yourself during
Yeah.
matches. Obviously, you're winning, so you're smiling, you're excited. So tell us about your match against Davidova here in the semifinals.
Um, I don't know. I didn't think I fight her before, but I fight few Beauchemin tournament. But I fight her in training camp. This is sure. I knew like her judo a little bit. I saw her too during the day. So with Sasha, we made a plan like how to fight her. And at first, I was like, okay, we'll be like because I was seeing her like fighting the other one. I was like, okay, it could be like a long fight. She's tall. Maybe she will be hard to throw. Uh, and I'm like on the grip. I'm like, remember fighting her. She's like, oh, she can be annoying. So I'm like, I was getting ready, and like on the first grip, I just felt stronger than her. So I was like, oh, this is nice, and I just kept going like I just keep going like with the plan that I made with Sasha, and I saw an opportunity in Newaza, and I took it. And
Can you break down can you break down the armbar or the scenario on the Niwaza for us?
yeah, so I tried to do first Sankaku. That's just my like favorite technique in Newaza. And with the time, I built like a lot of technique around that, depending of the reaction of my opponent. So that one that I start to do like the rigorous Sankaku. And after that, when like they block it, I go to the reverse Sankaku. And after that, when they block it, I can take the arm too. So like it's a lot of like feeling, reaction, and like action. But yeah, it was like that, and like it looked like so quick, like in the fight. But in my mind, it's like natural reaction. I like don't think I just do it because like in training we practice it. I practice it so much, and like just like become so natural for me. But yeah, so like I saw like the arm when like she took out the arm to block the sankaku. So I just like said, "Oh, the arm is free. Let's take it." So I took the arm, and at first I was a bit worried because she was looking like flexible. So I was worried like she will wait enough to like the referee to like say mate. But finally, like I have a good angle, like push well, and like she tapped. So I was like, "Yeah, made it."
No, it looked really awesome in the video. I think
Yeah.
it's funny too because on with the camera angle you could tell she was tapping much earlier, but the referee didn't see
Yeah.
it, and you didn't obviously see it as well. But it was a outstanding way to finish that match and now move on to the gold medal match against Yang. Let's speak about that. But before we do, now you're going into the gold medal match here at this Grand Slam. The last time you made the podium with a gold medal was back in 2014, 7 years ago. If I can
Yeah.
ask, what has changed in your judo over the last 7 years? What would
Oh
you
my god.
say if you could do like a retrospective, like if you could look back and see at your judo 7 years ago to your judo now, what has changed the most?
First, because I changed weight category, so this changed a lot. Because in 57, when I win my gold medal, I think it was in Mongolia.
In Turin,
Uh,
it was in Russia.
oh yeah, in Russia, Mongolia was a Grand Prix, right? Yeah, so like I was 57 in that time, so my judo was like really different because I was like faster, and I was like in the average weight, like height.
Right. Yep.
So I was like average. I could like have high grip and like I could do like other technique that now because I'm like one of the smallest of the category, I cannot do anymore because it just make like no sense. It's make me like in danger. So that changed a lot, and I think I'm like more slower but more powerful. Um, my drop kata has been better. My drop is more deep and better too. Um, but like you have all the time like place to like add more and like be better at some technique. Lately, I add in my judo reverse moriti.
Okay.
So it's like the Mongolian do it a lot, like the moriti with two hands on one lapel and they like spin. So I had that to my judo lately, and it started to work. I did that in my quarter with Osba, the Hungarian, and yeah, so like thing is that.
Right on, right on. So speak to us about your match here, your gold medal match against Yang from China. She seemed really strong right from the get-go. Speak to us about this gold medal match.
Yeah, I think she won a lot of our match during the day in Newaza. So I was like, oh, finally an opponent that like Newaza. So it was fun to like saw and like at first it was funny because at first I have two Chinese that like participate at the competition. And at first I was thinking it was the other one was in final because I didn't like really look at this part of the draw because I was very focused on like my fight. And when the final hours, I was like, whoa, who is in the final? And like Sasha told me like, oh, it's a Chinese. And after that, I was in my head, I was like, oh, it's like the left Chinese. But then he tell me, oh no, this one lost. It's the other one that is really good in Newaza and she's righty. I was like, oh, I never fight her before. I don't know her. I don't remember fighting her in training camp. So it was really like a first time for me fighting her. Sometimes I feel that more stressful because you don't know how she fight, how you will feel her and everything. So we just made a plan like the other match. Sasha like was telling me like, oh, she's ready, but she have a style of Chinese too. Like I was thinking she would be like really spicy and like crazy a little bit because they fight like a little bit crazy sometimes. But so I was ready to like have like really hard fight with like a girl that move a lot and like that she's strong in the waza. But finally, when I started a fight on Tachiwaza, I was like, oh, she's not like that strong on Tachiwaza. I was feeling like really in control of the grip. But in Newaza, I was like, oh, she's strong. I was like, when I was hitting the ground, she was on me like right away. I was like, whoa, I'm not like used to that. But we're like pretty like equal in Newaza, and like it was kind of funny because she was like starting Newaza, but after that I was starting to like get on her and like I was like almost cutting her, but she was taking was like really like a fun fight for the Newaza part. Um, yeah, so finally I knew like Newaza would be hard to take her. So this fight I knew like my advantage was on Tachiwaza. And at one point like I have the opportunity to do drop kataguruma, and I did it, and it was really well executed.
For sure it was, and it was. I mean, you were completely happy with that, as you should be. You just won the gold medal, and you could see the excitement and that energy. And I think you did try that throw in some of your previous matches, right?
Yeah,
The tournament, yeah.
yeah,
And
it's one of my favorite throw. I think it's this one that I throw the most with, I think. So I like all the drop, like drop marathi, drop sade, drop, but the drop kata is the one like that it come more naturally to do.
interesting. Now, leading up to this tournament, Catherine, can you tell us how you felt going into this tournament, considering everything, in the last 14 months or so? I know you competed as well in January. So give us some context to how you felt going into this tournament.
Yeah, so we had like this was my fourth tournament if I'm not wrong. So we start with Budapest. Budapest like was like the comeback to see like how we are like with the other.
Yeah,
I did fifth, so I was like, oh, it's good, but at the same time I have like some stuff to work because I lost with Osba, the Hungarian,
right.
and it was like more a mental thing to work on, I think. And after we did the Panams, where I did first, so I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm coming like stronger. And after like we have Doha, and Doha was like really disappointing, kind of, because I really want to do something, but with the context of Doha, just after Christmas, like, and like the training before, like, was not as well. I wish because like we're like vacation and like the training schedule changed, etc.
Right.
So after that, I really want to do something in my next tournament, and the next tournament was supposed to be Israel. But Israel was canceled like at the last minute.
Mm.
But I think that was like, I felt it was good and bad in some time because when I was going to Israel, I was like really ready to fight for Israel. But when it get canceled, I was like, well, we can have like a bigger um, a bigger schedule for training. Like we have like because after Doha we have like 2-3 weeks until Israel, but now because Israel was canceled, we have like 6 weeks of training. So I really like that because I could like build like more muscle, like build endurance, work on technique, and I think that worked well for Georgia. I don't think I will perform as well if we did like Israel. I didn't think I will perform as well at Israel that I did in Georgia. So I think this was a real good thing that we have like a good block of training before Georgia because I felt like really strong and I felt like ready. My weight was good. I did like a good weight cut because after Israel too, like my weight cut was like, oh man, I need to like cut weight now. And I was doing like really fast. And because like Israel was canceled, I have time to like cut my weight like really good for Georgia. Um, the training was good, so yeah, no, I felt like really ready for Georgia, like physically and mentally.
What was the mood like in Georgia, like in terms of at the venue with all the other competitors? What was the energy like generally there?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Like what was the energy and mood like in Georgia when you were at the tournament? What was it like to be there amongst your you know competitors and so on? Were people all amped up? Were they ready to go? Were people nervous? What was the energy like, generally speaking?
At the competition,
Yeah,
uh, I don't know, like a normal competition, but with
right,
so much stuff like added with COVID,
right,
because
right,
like so much more process, like doing like the test and everything. We start to get used to it, but like each country you go, they have like some stuff is a little bit different, or like example here, the training area was like not really great because like we arrive and like you're supposed to have like some schedule and you put the time on the for training, but here was like not well organized and stuff like that. So dealing with that can be hard sometimes. But in Georgia, was like it was well made. I was like surprised sometimes. Like I was thinking it would be like worse than that. Like sometimes like some places really like aren't unorganized,
right, right.
but Georgia was well, and yeah, no, the vibe was good. Like the training hours was good. Uh, yeah, I've not that much to say. I was feeling strong the day of the tournament. Yeah.
Right on, right on. So I know I've asked you this question in the past, in previous interviews, but what motivates you to compete? What motivates you to go out there and fight and train and put in all this time? What's your motivation?
It's sure it's fun to like, you train so much, so you want to like compete to see your level with the other one and how you progress and everything. But it's sure like the sensation of winning or of like all the emotion that come with it. It's like it become like addictive. And I'm not sure like when I will retire of judo, I could like find something that like put you like in the state of like joy like that, or like excitement, or like when you win a fight, or like sometimes kind of funny because like I started the day and like I was a bit stressed, and sometimes like, oh my god, why I put myself like in that much stress, or like in like this position like that I'm uncomfortable in. But after that, when like you have a day like that and you win, and like we're like, oh, it's worth it. I really like that feeling, so you have like, it's kind of interesting how you can have like opposite like emotion and opposite thought during a day of the competition, but then you will finish the day and it's like, oh, it was nice, or yeah, and like this, all this process is special, and yeah, I think it's that.
Right on, right on. And you're currently ranked number 6 in your division, correct? Right?
Pardon?
You're
Repeat.
you're currently ranked number 6 in
Yeah,
your
yeah,
division. Yeah.
in the wall
Right.
ranking. But
Right.
if you look just for the Olympic, I think I'm four. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but I think I'm four for the
Okay.
Olympic.
Right on. So, what does it mean to have one gold at this tournament within the context of the Olympics happening 4 months from now or so?
I feel like the momentum is good. Like the process of like getting a big tournament, feeling good at tournament, and like building a good like routine. I don't know if I can say that
Yeah,
routine
yeah.
before the
Mhm.
tournament.
Yeah.
So in my mind, after Georgia, I was like, okay, this is great. It was a big day. Really, like I was feeling strong, and like I don't want to like stop there, and I just I want to like take note on why it was so good this day, and I want to like repeat this process again and again to like to 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 like perform each time like that. I'm like I need to redo that, but like better and better like that at the game. I can perform like really well.
Right on. And I think right now you're currently in Turkey. I'm speaking to you. I'm
Yeah.
here in Ottawa, and you're currently in Turkey, in Antalya. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that for the Antalya Grand Slam. What's the mood and energy like? I see that you're at the hotel lobby. There's a lot of judokas walking around. What's the vibe like, and how are you feeling as you're competing this weekend, I believe?
Yeah, it's come back really close. It's been a long time we didn't do like two competitions in a row. So I was like worried that it will be hard on the body and like the weight cut and like the traveling between because we traveled during the night. It was really a bad travel to come here. We did like left the hotel at like midnight Monday, and the flight was at 4 a.m.
Hmm.
and we have another flight like for another an hour. So like we didn't really sleep that night. So for coming here was hard, and but after that, like all the process of like doing the test and quarantine is always like hard to pass through. But after that, like it's kind of cool because like all the it's a resort here, so it's just judo people. So you walk here and like you see just judo people, no like stranger, no like no one in vacation. So it's
Right.
kind of cool to see that. So it's very like just judo vibe in a hotel.
So are people fighting in the back? Like, how come I'm not seeing, people
Yeah.
throwing each other or whatever? No, there's none of
um,
that, eh? No,
no, no, I don't think it will be allowed.
no.
No, so it's really nice for that, and um yeah, so I think like it's great. Like the organization here seem great, and like everyone like is happy to compete again. The training has been well here, so yeah. So I think I will just like I said, try to do the same process I did in Georgia, and if I can better, I will do better. And yeah, I have like high expectation with what I did in Georgia, but I don't want to focus on the results. I want to focus on the process to get the results.
Fair enough. And as far as, can you tell us a little bit about your fellow teammates that are going to be competing in Turkey as well this weekend? Well, how are they feeling from what you know in preparation for this big tournament?
um, I know like Antoine is out for this tournament because he hurt his ribs at the last tournament. So, but he's staying on the trip because he will probably do like the last tournament of the trip if everything's going well with his rehab this week and next week. So he hoped doing like Panams. But for the rest, I know Jess just come in. She didn't do Georgia, but she just do Turkey tournament. So yeah, so I think she was very excited to fight because it's like her first tournament of the tour. And well, like I think everyone is excited to fight and like see like what we can do. with like all the result we get last week.
Right on. And of course, you guys are traveling. You and the team are traveling, or you're going abroad. And there's this COVID reality we're all living in. How do you feel? Generally, do you guys feel safe? I know you're following the protocols and all that. They're enforced on site here and there, etc. But how does it feel to be traveling in during COVID times? Do you ever get
Uh,
nervous when someone is standing less than 2 meters?
I'm not crazy with it, but it's sure uh, like in Georgia was more scary because you have a lot of case that was coming up because they decided to do a training camp in Georgia before the competition, but they didn't do the test before the camp.
Wow.
So they have like a lot of people that was tested positive before coming during the camp before the competition. So a lot
Wow.
of team like cancel, and yeah, so during the yeah, I was like a bit crazy and like really try to like be careful more in Georgia. Here is not too bad because like now they did like other tests before coming here again. Like it's so much tests. We did like 4 tests for Georgia in a week, and now we do another 4 tests here. So, but it's kind of good because like it's more like for security and like we feel more like secure with that.
Right.
But yeah, so here's like less bad for the case, so it's better here. I feel less stressful for this part. But well, for the traveling part, it's just like so much like testing and like you need to have some proof to go in this country. So we need to organize a test like 2 days before, but not 3 days because if you do 3 days before, it will not be okay for like entering the country. But oh my god, it's really like so much more stuff to think when you travel. But we started to get used to it. It's not the best thing, but if we can compete with that, it's okay.
Right on. And of course, we're in the Olympic year this year, as I mentioned before. It's 4 months or so from now. And in preparation for that, how are you feeling in regards to Tokyo?
Repeat, sorry. I'm like,
It's an Olympic year, right? Where
yeah,
it's going down, and literally this we're speaking now. It's what month are we? We're in April, almost. We're almost
yeah,
April. It's
yeah,
the end of March, and we're a few months away, I suppose, from
yeah.
Tokyo 2020 or 2021. What do you think when you think of Tokyo 2020? What goes through your mind?
Uh, Performing to the yeah, I don't know. Uh, I think like I'm thinking like to the best thing. I'm thinking now how I can perform to Tokyo with like what I can do now. So it's sure like the two competition now it's like to perform well, practicing my routine and everything. After we have a training camp, so I'm like I wish I can like do a lot of fight with different partner because after that it's like we don't know what will happen. Is that I think this part is kind of not scary, but like how to deal with it because it's all the time like the tournament will be canceled last minute or I don't know if we can go at this trip or like and we have like all the time the 2 weeks quarantine when we come back. So I think, and we don't know like I don't know if I will do Russia. I don't know when is it exactly, but we still have two competitions left after this tour, and I don't know which one we'll do. If we will do we do training camp with them? So I think that is hard to work with for preparation for the Olympic. But in general, like I think we'll just like try to like put all the chance on my side and like work the hardest I can to be ready for Tokyo 2020.
Right on. And may I ask you, what's your favorite country to compete in? Outside Canada, of course. No.
Canada is kind of fun because you have like a good crowd.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like, but I think Tokyo is really cool and Paris for the crowd. If you talk like for the vibe of the competition,
Right.
Tokyo usually we have like each year like the Grand Slam of Tokyo and the Grand Slam of Paris. These two, they are really like nice to fight because the vibe is really nice, the crowd is really nice, and like so yeah, these two places to compete there, I really like it.
How does it feel to go from having, big crowds at these big tournaments to now having barely no crowds at these tournaments, right? Like the stands are pretty much more or less empty. You see, maybe you can hear other teammates yelling or supporting, but for the most part, it's empty stadiums, right? How does that, due to COVID, how does that impact performance? Does it impact
But
performance?
we already have some tournament that we didn't have that much crowd, like few country, like example in Morocco or like
Right,
in Russia, they don't have like that. They have some places they don't have like that much people that like go see judo.
right.
So we already like I've been in tournament that you don't have anyone in the stand almost. So we a little bit used to it. It's sure like for Olympic it will be different, but I feel for me I don't really care because like I feel when you like focus on your fight, your mindset is on. I don't hear like people yelling. I don't like focus on that. So I don't think for me it will affect me at the game. And it's just like sad because like when you like at the game and you're looking other people compete, it's kind of nice to be like in the crowd and yell and like be with other people. But for me like competing, I'm like I don't think it will affect me that much.
That's interesting. So you focus. You're not influenced by all that energy, all that noise, all
Yeah.
that madness. That's really fascinating. Now, I know I've asked you this question before, but I'm going to ask you again. How would you sort of describe your style and approach to judo?
I'm
Training
short.
and sorry,
Yeah, my style how I fight.
yeah,
Yeah, so like I'm short for my career, so usually I'm like trying to like pass under like the tall girl. It's sure I cannot do like for me like doing in Chimata, like I never did it, and I will never start to do it because like I don't know, I don't have the feeling to do it. I'm more comfortable when I have 2 feet on the ground, I think.
mm,
And yeah, so like all my technique is like Swanage, all the Swanage, Sade, Morete, Ipan Swanage, and drop Kataguruma. And I have like Ochigari and Osugari a little bit. But these two I do it a lot with like Ipan Swanage, and the people react and I come back like with the Ochigari or cross grip like Ochigari. I don't do really like conventional like Ochigari or conventional Osugari. It's a lot more like around like my technique I do. Uh, what I'm doing else? I'm doing like Uranage a little bit like
mm.
with left and right. I don't do it often in competition. I think I like keep it like for the last chance. If I can keep the distance, I'm great. But if like they attack something and I don't have other thing to do, I will try renegade. I do it a lot in training, but like in competition, I'm trying to like do other thing before doing that because I feel it's like more risky. And I'm doing sase a little bit, but I think like my two strength is like my gripping and my newaza.
Speak to us about your Niwaza. I was just going to ask because it shows in your matches that you're extremely versatile and effective in your Niwaza. Like it's like once it goes to the ground, it's like you're you know
It's my game.
yeah, it totally is. Can you speak to us as to how, because that's not necessarily the case for most. I'm generalizing here, but
Yeah.
maybe that's not the case for most judo competitors at the international level. It seems that some tend to focus more on tachiwaza and noniwaza. Maybe is if I can say limited, whereas yours is extremely entertaining. It's very active, and for a lot of combat sports fans outside of judo, I must say I think it's awesome to see sophisticated ground game that is judo Niwaza. So can you speak to us a little bit about your approach to Niwaza training and what you enjoy about ground fighting most? I hope I can get 5 or 10 more minutes with you. I know we're
Yeah,
running.
it's okay. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know how I developed that much Newaza. I think I was just like, oh, you feel more secure in Newaza. Because like when you're Tachiwaza, you can like get through, but in Newaza, you cannot get through. It doesn't hurt that much, I feel. Okay. I don't know, but yeah, so I think what I like on Newaza, it's like the action reaction, and yeah, and I don't know, I see like everything's coming, and like I saw their arms going out, so I took it. I saw like I don't know, I saw the opportunity in Nawaza that like I think other people maybe don't see, and I think like other countries maybe don't focus as much on that, uh, because like judo start on Tachiwaza, and like all the shido, like if you don't, because if you don't fight Tachiwaza and you just fight Newaza, you will get Chido to not like attacking, not be like productive enough, because this count just for the Tachiwaza. And I think at Rio, at the games, that play with me, because at the game at Rio, I was really like focusing on the Newaza, and I did like a lot of work on Newaza during my fight, but I didn't attack enough on the Tachiwaza, and I get Chido for that. But a lot of people like that don't know judo, they were like telling me like, oh, I don't understand why you get chido, you're still like attacking on Newaza. But I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't count for the referee that like I was attacking on Newaza, because it's the tachiwaza that count for that. So that like I think like it's because like people focusing more on tachiwaza for that, and because the fight start on tachiwaza, people like don't see like I think people see Newaza more like opportunity, or like, oh, if I had a chance I will win in Newaza. But me, I've seen like more like I need to create that opportunity. I need to put people on the ground like win on Newaza. I don't see it like, oh, if we do a Newaza, I can maybe like win. I'm like, I need to go on Newaza with them. It's
Right.
like a priority, and I need to take every chance I have, like when like someone hit the ground, to like work on them, because I know it's my strength, and I need to like fight the fight with my strength, and not like fighting the fight with the strength of the opponent.
Right. No, it totally makes sense. And I've heard some commentators for IGF tournaments talk about how maybe it's time to consider, because of the volume of effort and work that's involved on the ground and in Niwaza fighting, how that in itself, might it's something to consider in terms of letting people play more, or excuse me, fight more on the ground. And I don't know if they're alluding to potential points for that as well. But you almost
Yeah.
see a dichotomy between how the stand up is assessed and valued more so than the ground. And it's interesting because in some other sports, it seems like that it's more
Opposite.
all ground, all ground focused. So it's
Yeah.
anyways. I mean, these things are always changing, I would imagine. Also, wanted to ask you, what's the general climate for most of the competitors in your division for Niwaza? Are most of them versed in? Do they have a high level ground game?
Uh,
I'm
not
speaking about like the world champions and so on in your division. Are they? Have you seen much Niwaza action from them?
I know that like the Slovenian girl, she's like pretty good in Newaza. She's really good in the transition. She's really quick. Uh, but I know I can like beat her maybe in Newaza too. I think I'm stronger than her in Newaza.
Are
Uh,
you talking about Tina?
yeah,
Yeah,
Tina.
yeah.
She's really quick to like take the opportunity in Newaza. Um, but she's good to defend too. So this is the thing. Like if like you're not good at Newaza, but you're good to defend, you can like be okay with people like that are strong in Newaza too. I know Clarice too. She have like few technique in Newaza that are good, but her Tachiwaza is much better than her Newaza.
Right.
But in general, like, yeah, I feel like people like in my category, like they're like really more focusing on the Tachiwaza than Newaza.
Right.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your time. I have two more questions for you. I just want to
Yay.
take up 5 more minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to know what's your greatest judo competition memory moment ever thus far? What's that moment that you think about?
It changed a lot, like during like my era of competing, but like it was like when in Russia I took third because my father was in hospital during that time. So it was kind of special because my father, like, we were in Japan. I don't know if you heard about this story. I was in Japan. We were doing training camp for preparing like the Grand Slam in Russia, and I have the objective precisely for this tournament to take a medal. I was like talking with Sasha, and like we're like, okay, I did like few medal like Grand Prix, few medal like I performed all at Pan Am's, so we said like now it's time to perform like Grand Slam. We need like I did like few times fifth at Grand Slam. It's like you're very close to have like a medal at Grand Slam. We need that medal. So I was like really focusing to have that for this tournament. And during I was in Japan, I received a call of my mom like really early in the morning. I was like, she knew I'm in Japan. I don't know why she called her. She called me, but it was because like my father have like a heart attack,
Oh wow.
and he was at hospital and it was really like serious. Um, so she called me and like she told me that, and like at first she didn't want to tell me because my competition was coming up and she knew like it was really important for me. But she called my boyfriend, and my boyfriend was like, no, 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 you need to tell her because if like my father was getting worse, like he said like she need to know because it will be like unfair for her to not know, and like it's getting worse, and like
Right.
finally she need to tell me something like just before the competition.
Right.
So finally like she tell me, and yeah, I was like, should I come back? Should like I cancel my competition? I was like, I felt was like, I want to be with you guys. I want like to support you, but just talking about it, I'm like crying a little bit. But yeah, so it was like really a hard time be like away from them during like my father was at the hospital and I was not there.
Right.
But my mom was like, no, no, me and your father really want you to compete and like do great because like it's really important for us. So I decided to don't tell anyone on the team
Wow.
because I didn't want them to like take me like, oh, it's so sad, or like just remind me all the time like the situation. I don't want them to like have, I don't know the term in English, pity.
To pity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just tell Sasha and the physio to them to be aware of it if anything happened. And I talk a lot with like my mental psychologist, my mental prep guy,
Right.
to like getting ready to the tournament and everything. And the thing was really hard to it is like my father, he really had hard time to open his eye and talk. But he said my mother took a video of my father telling me like, uh, take a medal for me,
Wow.
come home with a medal. So I was
Wow.
like, oh my god, I really need to like I really, if I'm like staying for Risha and not being home with them, I mean, I'm like, I really need to come back with a medal
Right.
for them. And so it's what I did, and like it was really hard because I didn't tell anyone, and I was really focusing on competition, and like, and my mountain prep was telling me to like each fight, focusing on like your fight. But during the day, he said like you can think about your father all day long of the competition. But he said, but when you are arrived to fight on a mat, you need to be focused on what you need to do. And so it's what I did during all day. And I was like kind of keeping like my sadness inside.
Right.
And like when I win my bronze medal, oh my god, I cried so much. It's like you can see like if you saw the video, like I went like on the ground again, and like when like the referee called the ippon, I start crying so much, like and like I think anyone like understand why because I didn't tell anyone. It was anyone, everyone was like, "Whoa, why she react so much? Why is she so happy? Why she's like?" And after that, when I tell like my teammate, they were like, "Oh, now we understand."
Right.
And yeah, so it was a lot for me this competition.
Wow, that's an incredible story, and it goes to show how much as competitors you're committed to competition,
Yeah,
and there's life challenges that come your way, and to keep that focus is remarkable. And I'm sorry to have asked that.
yeah, it's
I didn't,
okay.
I didn't mean to provoke that, but I have one last question for
Yep.
you. Is what's the best advice you've ever been given? It could be judo advice or non-judo advice. What's the best advice that you've been given that you think about on a daily basis that kind of represents how you live your life?
Uh, I think going with the process more than the result help a lot. A few things that come in my mind, like I know like my first coach told me like going to the Olympic is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Hmm.
Because like for judo, it's like 2 years like selection, and now like almost 3 years with the COVID.
Right.
So like if you take it like a sprint, I feel you burn yourself. But if you like look at like a marathon, you're like more like pacing yourself during the selection. I feel like it's going better.
Right on. It's
Yeah.
it's an, it's excellent advice for judo and for life. And Catherine, I just want to thank you very much and congratulations again for winning the gold in Georgia. And
Thank
now
you.
you're in Turkey, and we'll be watching the tournament, cheering for you and members of the team. So thank you very much for your time and all the best.
Thanks. Thanks so much.